Hello, welcome to the Eternal Fortress gift shop and museum, because everyone has to pay taxes and has to pay to upkeep facilities, even Chaos. It's mainly because Tzeentch loves collecting taxes, and he's been trying to audit Perturabo ever since he's just been sitting in a tower secluded, hiding away from a certain mutated Raven Primarch. I'll be your low minimum wage historian for your trip that mainly works for tips, but don't worry about me though. Talking about Warhammer lore all day is kind of a dream come true. Except for the part where I had to talk about the Imperial Fists and Iron Warriors all day. Yet again, Tzeentch's fault. He loves ironic twists. So allow me to spin the yarn of one of the most devastating battles for the Imperial Fists and of the Iron Warriors' hate being fully realized. The story of the Iron Cage starts off very Shakespearean in nature. Two brothers, Primarchs Rogal Dorn and Perturabo, both test tube babies made by the Emperor of Mankind that were swept across the galaxy when the forces of the demonic powers of chaos thought out his feelings of you, with him not even pausing to think of your emotions to tell you that you need to take a shower because you stink worse than Nurgle's underside. This child, when they grew up, would have an empire of their own. Leader of House Dorn, Rogal Dorn, with a love for building and creating things, even making ships for space travel. The other was sent to a world called Olympia that wasn't very advanced compared to the other worlds, with it being very close technologically and culturally to ancient Greece and Sparta. No wonder the world's called Olympia. The child for a while was pretty homeless, scavenging around large population centers, with them eventually being taken in by the king of the area. But he deeply mistrusted everybody and was kind of an edgelord. When he became of age, he was able to give himself a new name. He gave himself an ancient name with deep meaning. He named himself Perturabo? What? I would have chosen like a cool name like Drogdor the Burninator or something. Anything else besides Perturabo. He locked himself away and studied and had many ideas tinkering. But he was limited by the technological advancements that his world had. With the culture of the world worried more about defending yourself with the power you had rather than taking it from others. Both were tinkers and inventors, but the difference is that Queen Bee Rogal Dorn was a proven inventor, and everyone didn't believe that Perturabo could do anything. They probably thought he was clinically stupid, because he named himself Perturabo. Plus, he had a superiority complex, thinking that he was better than everyone anyways, but he didn't really have anything to prove that besides he was a Primarch. And when your brothers are a bunch of other Primarchs, you kinda take the wayside when you haven't done anything cool. So when Perturabo found out that he had a brother that outshined him as an inventor because Rogal Dorn had a frozen that was at least a little bit technologically advanced and made it so he could get a jump start ahead of Perturabo, he was kind of pissed, because he felt like he should have gotten the glory that Rogal Dorn had, harboring some resentment towards it. That was about it for a while, mainly because both of them now had some of these sweet things called Space Marines you might know about, when they got the hookup from the Emperor of Mankind when he showed up to their worlds. Were too busy fighting wars with their new personal armies for the time being. Over time though, their rivalry did grow increasingly bitter, mainly because Rogal Dorn was doing the best he ever had, and was thriving, exfoliated and content, building things and defending stuff. Meanwhile, Perturabo had the Emperor-given task of fighting aliens called the Harud, that could warp time to accelerate the aging process of everything around it, and turn you into bones! The Harud are so overpowered with this that they discovered that Space Marines could die of old age, thanks to one Iron Warrior trying to get in melee combat with one, where the Space Marine rapidly aged and decayed. So while Perturabo had his troops traumatized by aliens, Rogal lived a perfect life and would often sternly talk to Perturabo, telling him to do better, coldly, sneering towards his brother. While Perturabo himself would probably have steam coming out of his ears and his head turning a shade of red. Things between them were horrible, mainly because Perturabo would not let a grudge go if his life depended on it. Rogal Dorn never even thought he was throwing shade because he's not rude, he's just honest. Things started getting really bad once the Emperor of Mankind had to pick his favorite son who liked building stuff to make his base on Earth, called the Imperial Palace. Instead of going for the underdog of Perturabo, who would no doubt feel finally happy and fulfilled, being seen as useful in his father's eyes and the Imperium as a whole, the Emperor chose differently though, going for Rogal Dorn. And Perturabo was the maddest that he has ever been. He was so heated that the intake that are his nose and mouth couldn't cool his brain anymore. He was about a baby rage. Brother was having a tantrum and he needed to show that he was better than Rogal Dorn. Man, if only there was some way to do that. Ho ho ho! Looks like you're about to hear me say the name of an excavation or structure created in the ground by digging to access liquid resources Because, well, the Horus Heresy went and showcased its ugly face with the Dropside Massacre, where he and some of his brothers decided to turn tail, trying to make a new, better Imperium, without the guidance of the Emperor, which worked out pretty well. And you know what that means. Oh boy, Perturabo, time to loot Ferrus Manus' dead corpse, grabbing his hammer and giving it to Horus himself to prove your loyalty. Because this is your best chance to show the Emperor and Rogal Dorn that you're better than them. Yes, you will totally not regret this, you man-child. Go and hunt down more of Rogal Dorn's Imperial fists and make him your enemy. Then realize that once you start trying to siege Holy Terra, Dorn's fortresses and bunkers have hands, with them already being hard to siege normally. But they're even harder to siege when you have a bunch of Khornate berserkers to chip away at walls, instead of them using any tact. Yeah, these Chaos Worshippers are idiots. Take your Space Marines and get out. This siege was chalked once you had to fight the near inuprootable Imperial Fist, the raw destructive melee power of the entirety of the Blood Angels Legion reinforced with Sanguinius himself, and the White Streak Jagatai Khan and his boys on bikes coming in and waffle stomping all your troops. Wait, the Alpha Legion's here. It's shown up. Here to help you. That's nice. Oh, Rogal Dorn decapitated Alfarius or Omegon or whoever that is. And now the Ultramarines are here? Nah, leave. Cut your losses. It's done. Heresy's over. Everyone go home. This defeat left Perturabo even more frustrated and hate-filled than ever before. During the Siege of Terra, there were a few things that Perturabo found out about Dorn, though. Mainly that he really hated heretics. Like the main way you can get any emotion out of this stone-faced, Maui-head looking boring bastard was to be a heretic. And the best way to do that was being a Chaos Worshipper and spitting in the face of the Emperor's grand design. So a little trolling was in order. Which is exactly what Perturabo did when he created an 8-pointed Star of Chaos-shaped Eternal Fortress, covered in miles of bunkers, emplacements, traps, trenches, and treachery. The sheer size of the fortress sent out a challenge to Rogal Dorn, with it being a giant middle finger to the Imperium and everything it stands for. Dorn saw it, swore to destroy it, and began to start the fight in a battle that would later be recognized as one of the most humiliating defeats in all of Imperial history. Oh, it was a vicious grudge match in the making for many years. No items on, 3 stock, double Luigi, Eternal Fortress only. The Battle of the Iron Cage! In this corner, at about 11 foot or something tall, the Primarch of the Iron Warriors, Perturabo! And in this corner, about 12 feet tall or something, the Primarch of the Imperial Fist, Rogal Dorn! Rogal Dorn, against the discretion of his smarter, handsomer, never wrong except for the Codex Astartes, brother Rabuta Gilliman, launched an attack out of zealous rage, trying to crumble the so-called Eternal Fortress by bombarding it, all from high orbit. Which must have been really gosh darn confusing for the Imperial Fist, besieging a fortress? When we're the ones that are great at defending fortresses, not taking them? Dude, we don't even have a plan. We have an attack strategy held together by duct tape and hope. And the orbital bombardment didn't even do anything to the Eternal Fortress. And when they got close enough, Perturabo detonated multiple missile silos that contained nuclear bombs to turn off the Wi-Fi, making it so troops on the ground and the ones in ships had no idea what was happening, making the Imperial Fist wig the frick out. Iron Warriors started their attack by trapping the Imperial Fist, raiding their ships through boarding, wiping out the Imperial Fist in orbit, leaving the troops on ground completely alone, with 4 whole companies of Iron Warrior with Perturabo in the middle of them, commanding the siege defense, decimating armored vehicles and infantry alike, making the very defensively minded Imperial Fist wish for a wall-mounted heavy bolter to sit behind instead of run in front of. The Imperial Fist did eventually break into the Eternal Fortress though, where everything seemed calm. Oh, cool, that means they could start gaining ground and maybe set in... Oh, wait. Never mind. It's all trap. It's all trap, with planned out ambushes, and Rogal Dorn started to realize that he might have messed up as he watched his Space Marines get eviscerated. So he got cozy in the trenches, flooded in blood, with them having to rely on close combat because they ran out of ammunition for their bolters, hiding amongst their brothers like they were playing Vendetta from Call of Duty World at War. The entirety of the Imperial Fist were almost completely destroyed multiple times, with Rogal Dorn preparing to meet his maker. Well, he already did, but, you know, like in the warp this time. And almost 4 weeks into the Battle of the Iron Cage, the Ultramarines finally showed up to save the day like they always do. But them teaming up with the Imperial Fist like a Megazord and causing the Iron Warriors to retreat, with Perturabo claiming as many Imperial Fists as he possibly could before he loosened his grasp and his plan succeeded, showcasing that Rogal Dorn was no better than him. Emotional, brash, and filled with hate. And that was enough for Perturabo, making Rogal Dorn live with the shame for the rest of his life. And the Imperial Fist too, for all the dead or wounded brothers they could not recover, with the Legions needing a chug jug to regain all of its lost numbers. Guilliman would talk to Rogal Dorn afterward, making him adhere to the Codex Astartes after calling him stupid, and with Rogal Dorn creating successor chapters that are kind of cool, and also the best thing ever, the amazing and zealous Black Templars. And that's the story of the Battle of the Iron Cage, one of the most fun grudge matches that ever came out, mainly because of the Imperial Fist's juxtaposition of finally attacking something. If you want to personally help me out and see more of me, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss out when I upload new videos. Any tips and forms of likes and comments would also be appreciated. I want to hear what you guys like about the Iron Cage, and maybe some games or topics I could cover in 40k. Besides that, the gift shop bathroom is to your left, and have a good day.